Wladimir Klitschko defeats Bryant Jennings with a 12-round unanimous decision. Now, first and foremost, big up Bryant Jennings for managing to go 12 rounds when you consider the fact that the first time this guy ever laced up a pair of boxing gloves was only 6 years ago. That's right, he only had a handful of amateur fights and turned pro soon after that. And he's managed to get to the stage where he's not only fought for the heavyweight title in just 6 years from the first time he ever laced up a pair of boxing gloves, he also went the distance with a guy who is very formidable. So let's just get that out of the way first. As far as the performance from Klitschko, Jennings was moving a lot early in the fight, which I expected. I knew Jennings wasn't trying to go in there and get himself knocked out or dropped quickly like Kubrat Pulev, so he was moving a hell of a lot for the first few rounds, and he looked very nervous to me, Jennings. But once he got settled down, he was actually okay in there. He got a bit brave and he started trying to push Klitschko back and land punches here and there. But it's like I said in my pre-fight video, Jennings doesn't know how to extend his arms. He's actually got longer arms than Klitschko, but he doesn't know how to set his feet correctly to be able to extend his arms and keep himself on balance. So instead, he squares his shoulders up and he throws chopping punches. He doesn't get full extension. And because of that, Klitschko was able to dictate things from the outside. Whereas if Jennings had been taught properly from day one how to set his feet the correct distance apart and get full extension on his punches, straighten out that right hand, he would have been able to compete with Wladimir at long range with the jab. And he also, while he was on the move, he would have been able to jab and come in with straight right hands to catch Klitschko off guard. But as I said in my pre-fight video, he wasn't ready yet. He doesn't have the technical refinement, was still too raw, all right? But another thing in this fight, which has actually convinced me that if there was a rematch between Povetkin and Klitschko, it could be very different. And that was the referee. This referee was a lot more strict. And I've said this many times in Klitschko videos, that when Klitschko fights in America, the referees are a lot more strict on him in terms of the holding. They don't stand for that kind of stuff he gets away with in Germany and Eastern Europe. As so they shouldn't, because his holding is excessive. Now, he still did a lot of holding in this fight. But one thing the referee did, he eventually took a point off in the 9th round. He should have taken a point off earlier, to be honest with you. He could have been stricter on Klitschko. But one thing he stopped Klitschko doing straight away was pushing Jennings down. And that's a big tactic for Klitschko. He relies heavily on pushing his opponent down and leaning on them because it saps their energy very quickly. When you got a 240, 250 pound man pushing all his weight down on you, it's very, very draining. And Klitschko relies on that. He relies on draining his opponents out that way so they become a static, stationary target quickly, and then he can land his punches a lot more accurately. When he's not allowed to do that, he feels uncomfortable and he's nowhere near as effective. So Klitschko, if he's going to lose, most likely it's going to be in America, where he's not allowed to get away with the same kind of tactics. And even though he did win the fight by a comfortable margin, although Bryant Jennings disputed it, to me, because of the fact that the stuff the referee was doing, that made him uncomfortable because he knew he wouldn't be able to take away Jennings' energy. And Jennings was coming forward. He tried to get a few shots on, never really landed anything great. A few shots here and there, but nothing spectacular. He was doing pretty good work to the body though, but it was more slaps to the body, really, Jennings. He doesn't throw correctly to the body, kind of slapping. But, you know, credit where credit's due. Klitschko looked awkward, uncomfortable, and this is as ordinary as he's looked for a long time. And as much as I give credit to Jennings for that, I also have to give credit to the referee for that. And just like I said at the beginning of this video and in my pre-fight video, that Povetkin fight could have been so different, people. It could have been so different if they had a referee more like this ref, or even stricter, who didn't allow Vlad to push him down, to throw him around. I mean, if you ain't seen that fight, go type in Wladimir Klitschko illegal tactics on YouTube and there'll be a video which just shows you all the clinching that he did in the fight. Incredible. Absolutely incredible how a guy can do that kind of stuff and not get disqualified. Unbelievable. So there'll be a lot of heavyweights now looking at that performance and saying, you know what, if I can get the fight in America and he can't lean on me, seeing what a guy as raw and unrefined as Bryant Jennings was able to do, I fancy my chances now. You're going to get a lot of guys saying that. I'm telling you, Deontay Wilder was at the fight and he'll be very, very interested now. He'll think, you know what, maybe I'm not that far away from fighting Wladimir Klitschko, because I'm sure in his mind, he thinks he can replicate what Jennings did. The difference between Jennings and Wilder, though, is Wilder's obviously much better at straightening out his punches. Wilder's very good at throwing long shots, at adjusting his balance and getting full extension on his punches. He's very good at that. And he's obviously much taller than Jennings, much bigger, hits much harder. Hey, you know what? I mean, the only thing people might question about Wilder in terms of the comparison to Jennings, some people might believe that Wilder maybe doesn't have as good a chin as Jennings. Or some people might think that Wilder maybe doesn't have quite a good at boxing skills, or maybe not as good at defense. That remains to be seen. But in terms of the basic tactics of moving around and stuff like that, I think Wilder can do that, do what Jennings did, but be more effective. I think he can do it. And I'm telling you, if he lands that big right hand on Wladimir's chin, because he's going to be able to land that right hand from long range. You know, this is not like Jennings, who can't straighten out his shots and he's only like 6'1", 6'2". This is Wilder, who's 6'7", who can straighten out his shots, who is fast from long range. I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if when they fight, Wilder knocks him out. Don't even be surprised, people. I'm not saying Vlad don't have the power to knock Wilder out too. He obviously does, but I'm telling you, man, Wilder's sharp with that right hand, man. He's a young guy and he's got reflexes, so don't be surprised. As far as Fury, even Fury will be fancying it after that. But the Fury fight is likely to be in Germany, and I know Fury's a big guy, he's strong and everything, so Vlad won't really be able to lean on Fury, but he probably will get away with a lot of grappling. But Fury's definitely going to fancy his chances after seeing that as well. Seeing how uncomfortable Wladimir looks when he can't stay within his comfort zone, when he can't just be leaning on guys and throwing them around and doing all that kind of stuff. He really is a confidence fighter, Wladimir. He's a comfort zone fighter. When you take him out of his comfort zone, he starts to look lost very quickly. He hasn't really gotten over that. Just the body language of him, which I saw in this fight, shows me that Wladimir still has that fear inside of him, which is never really that very far from the surface once you take away certain safety nets. You know, his ability to grab and lean on people and referees that are going to help him out and what have you. So, yeah, interesting. After the fight, Wladimir didn't really complain about the point deduction. He said, you know, it is what it is. The referee did what he did. Jennings once thought the fight was close and he thought he just nicked it. He thought he just took the decision and he'd like a rematch somewhere. I don't know. Jennings, he needs to get a new training set up. People need to teach this guy how to throw his punches correctly and to sort his feet out. Squares his shoulders up all the time, doesn't get full extension of his punches, doesn't jab side on and stretch the arm out. Lots of things to work on for Bryant Jennings. He needs a new trainer, man. But yeah, the heavyweight division is interesting, particularly if Wladimir's next few fights take place in America and they put him in with some of these younger guys. It's going to be interesting times. Drop your comments below. How do you think Wladimir is going to get on with Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and these kind of fighters? Let me know in the comment section below. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.